a soul divided. No, I put myself down, cause the only way I face the problem is shutting down. My head, it tells me it's not worth trying. My body tells me you're better off dying. My mind, it tells me I'm a waste of talent. My heart, it tells me the song is not worth writing. You've got it wrong, and you should see a therapist. Yeah, I should quit my job. I'm getting really sick of it. You've got it wrong.
So why can't you start? Well, I think there's a couple reasons why you can't start. I can start by telling you the reasons why I couldn't ever start. There was this, well, there still is, but there's this thing deep down inside that says, hey, you're not good enough. You can't do the things that you want to do. If you try the things that you want to do, people are going to laugh at you. You know, whether or not that comes from being bullied or having somebody in the past that told you that you couldn't do something, whether, you know, they may not have meant it that way, but maybe when you were younger, you interpreted it that way. Sometimes there's people in the world that will constantly tell you, like, hey, that's not going to work out. That's stupid. Why would you try that? You need to go get a stable 9-to-5 job with a 401k and health benefits and, you know, all that stuff that probably actually smarter to have, but that's not risky or fun. So another reason why I could never start is I didn't really believe in the message that I was presenting to people. And I know that looking back, I remember wanting to get into, I guess, film, be a filmmaker. And, you know, there was always that tug at my heart deep down. It was like, hey, you should be a songwriter. You should make music. You love music. And I remember when I was a little kid, I have this memory of being probably like 3 or 4 years old. And I was on my little toy piano in my bedroom all by myself, and I remember even back then I remember thinking I wish I could play this so I could, you know, perform for people. I wish I knew how to actually play this thing. And I remember just bashing away on the keys and singing songs that I loved, and for all I knew I was playing the songs, but I remember distinctly a memory of me wanting to be a musician. I told myself I wanted to be a filmmaker or a videographer, or I wanted to be a YouTuber, you know? And really what that was, it was almost like this is how you can achieve what you want to achieve without actually directly doing the thing that you want to do. This is a close good second. You know, people in my life had, you know, told me that I was good at video. It's something that I did enjoy doing, but I found out later that it was something that I enjoyed doing for other people. It wasn't something that I enjoyed doing for myself, and that wasn't something that was really healthy for me. I wasn't doing it for myself. I was doing it for like the social validation, if that makes sense. It was an easy way for me to grasp at some validation. I've definitely found in the past that the things that keep me from starting almost always have to do with some sort of identity crisis, or something about my values aren't lining up with what I'm doing. That's usually what makes me burn out. I remember when I was doing video full-time, well, not full-time, but I was doing video work and film work freelance right outside of high school. This is back in 2016. Geez, I'm old. I'm turning 25 on Saturday, but yeah, we're not going to talk about that. So I was like a little fresh, starry-eyed 18-year-old, and I had just gotten out of high school. I was in the film club, the film class. I remember back then doing the video stuff because every week we'd have something that went out on this weekly bulletin at our school, a video bulletin. And there was just something about that I really liked. I liked being able to have my influence shown to a larger group of people. And that's still kind of something that I crave with music, but it's more for myself. It's not as much for other people, which I think is a good thing. But being in that class made me feel like I had a purpose, and that was something that I kind of lacked. I never really felt like I fit in anywhere. And as soon as I took that class, I started making friends. I started finding like-minded people who were into creative work and photography, and some of my other classmates make music. After that, I remember I started interning at a media house that basically was run by the film teacher's alumni, one of his older students. And I remember getting into it and thinking, like, you know, this is it. This is what I'm going to do forever. This is who I am. This is what I want to be. I'll be happy doing this for the rest of my life. And I honestly couldn't have been more wrong looking back, because I remember just walking out the door after a few months and not ever looking back. It was a paid internship, but we made like $200 a week, which I understand that's all that, the guy that we were working for could afford, because he was a small business and he was basically just running on willpower. But I remember just realizing back then that showing up to work at 7 a.m. and editing videos nonstop for other people till 7 p.m. was not what I really wanted to be doing. I was pulling 12-hour shifts on a $200 a week salary. I could barely even afford the gas to get to work. I had to have my dad help me out with almost all of that because I was broke. It was just supposed to be an internship, but I still had to commute there and stuff. What I'm getting at is that whole experience kind of like burned me out in itself and kind of turned me off to doing video. It wasn't just that, it also kind of started to help me further realize that if I was going to make video stuff, it was going to be for myself and not other people. Fast forward a few months later, and I started working with this tech YouTuber, and he was a really cool dude. We got along really well. I helped him out on a lot of his videos. I'm not going to say that I was like the best employee, but I mean, again, we didn't really have any like contractual obligations or anything. It was kind of just like a handshake relationship. But I got a couple videos out working with that guy, and that's kind of when I started to fully realize the potential of YouTube, because this guy was doing like brand deals all the time. He was making these really cool videos for phone companies and things like that. And it was then when I realized how profitable YouTube can be. If you do it in a marketable, profitable way, that was honestly kind of a bad thing for me, because at that point, all the way up until then, I was completely like a starry-eyed, I was completely in it for fun. I was in it for the good of the world. I was in it for, the most noblest reasons you could think of, right? And it got to the point where I kind of got caught up in the numbers too much, and that really started to let me down. And I started to compare myself to statistics and numbers, and I was like, I'm grinding away this content. These videos are taking me almost 20 hours each, and other than the views I was getting from him plugging me on his Twitter and stuff, I was basically getting nothing. I was still an undiscovered channel, and that really upset me, because I was used to having that audience of the entire high school watching my videos that I would make every single week. And one of the reasons that people don't ever start, or one of the reasons that I don't ever start, is because I'm afraid of that burnout, and I'm afraid of that failure. I'm afraid of once again setting a goal and just like failing and letting everybody down. And I kind of just have gotten to a point where I realize I'm not letting anybody down. The only person I'm letting down is myself. So I finally started to reach the point in my life where I'm working a job that pays fairly. I work a lot. I work hard. I'm always tired when I get back from work. But basically the thing right now that I don't have is time. And there is a need to eat, but that drive to just finally go for it is way stronger than any sort of self-doubt I've ever had that is telling me, you can't do this, you're not cut out for it. And I am basically on a mission to prove to myself now that that's complete and it just doesn't make sense. There's no room for that in my life. I don't need that. I don't need that negative energy that I keep bringing upon myself. So, yeah. In other words, that's pretty much it. That's one of the reasons why I feel like I could never start, and I feel like that might be a reason why other people don't start. It's that fear of failure. It's that fear of the unknown. It's that fear of not wanting to take that leap. But I'm at the point now where it's just time to stop doubting, and it's time to just push and do it. Hopefully I'm not in another 18-year-old out of high school situation where I'm starry-eyed and don't really, understand the depth of the industry and stuff. But I feel like I'm lucky enough to be in a time now where I can basically fully produce my content, fully produce my music, fully produce everything, fully produce the message. And I really strongly suggest that thing that is deep down within yourself that is really tugging at you, it's just tugging at your soul. It's saying, Brendan, just do it, Brendan. I started learning guitar in like 2014, and I didn't sing for like 3 years. That's the funniest thing ever. And I sang I've sung most of my life, to pop music or whatever, but it took me a long time to really just kind of break out of that rut where I'm like, people don't want to hear me sing. They're going to think I'm annoying. They're going to think I sound like they're going to think I sound like a girl. They're going to think my voice is too high. They're going to screw it, The things that you think are flaws are almost usually always your strengths. They're the things that make you different. They're the things that make you unique. That thing that you think is scary, that you don't really want to do, that you're like, I sing in front of people? I couldn't do that. Funny story, I told myself years ago that I'd never sing in front of anybody. I told myself I'd never be able to sing in front of people. You know, being a singer-songwriter, that was completely out of the ballpark for me. That was something that confident people did. That was something that people who had their together did. That was singing in front of people with a guitar and a mic and a speaker. That was something that was so beyond me. I literally thought that you had to have superpowers to be able to have the level of confidence to do that. And one day I just said screw it, and I went busking on the pier. I was like feeling a little wild, you know, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a busking amp. I'm gonna, you know, I have the Martin guitar with the Fishman pickups in it, so I can just plug right in. I'll buy, you know, an SM58 little mic stand from Amazon, and I'll go busk on the pier. I'll play songs that I like acoustically, and you know, I feel like I did pretty good. People liked it. I remember when I played my first song, I had this huge group of people come up and just start staring at me, and they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna play?" And I was like, "Attention, everybody! This is my very first time busking. This is my very first song I've ever played in front of anybody. Just so you guys know, I've never played in front of strangers before." And they were like, "Oh, okay." And they all perked up. And I was like, "Wow, I thought people would tell me to get lost." And instead I had this whole group of, it was like this family from another state. They were on vacation at the Huntington Beach Pier, and they were like, "Let's hear it. We want to hear you." And I was like, "All right." And then I played Cigarette Daydream. I nailed it. It was fire. Rebecca's giving me the you did nail it face right now. All I'm saying is try something new. You might surprise yourself. That's all I'm trying to say. If you just quit telling yourself you can't do then there might be a chance that you probably could do some is what I'm trying to say. Hopefully you'll learn stuff a little bit faster than I did, you know. Hopefully you're not like 6 years of, you know, depression and trying to figure out why you don't feel like you can be yourself, and why you don't feel like you can get your voice out, and why you don't feel like you have the confidence to be who you want to be. Because once you start doing it, you kind of just become that person. It comes pretty easily. So, all right, Dutchie, come here. Hop up, Dutchie. Yeah, you want to talk into that? That's a microphone. All right, ready? Speak. Oh, she has to sit when she does it. Okay. So this has been a Brendan Patrick production. Thank you guys for watching. And I hope that you guys liked that advice and the video and stuff. And, you know, I'll keep you guys posted with some more tunes and some music and some videos. And Dutchie's going to also say goodbye. Okay, Dutchie. Ready? Speak. Oh, we got to get the bribery. We got to get the bribery going. Speak. Once she gets that flavor, speak.